Alrighty, welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, classic, last known classics. This episode number 2364. 64 is it? 65. Doubleshot 2259. Now, this one we're discussing a Fantastic Marvel Masterworks and the last Marvel Masterworks for Nick Fury. So, I can finish with something in these reviews. Yes. First up we have is Fantastic Four. Marvel's Fantastic Four, Volume 22, which collects issues 241 and 250 of Fantastic Four, What If number 36, and Silver Surfer number 1. The Silver Surfer issue, not going to discuss that because I discussed already in the, I think it was the first Epic Collection I discussed for Silver Surfer. So yeah, John Byrne writes and draws all these issues. Yeah, he is your main artist of these issues. He does everything, including the What If issue. He co-does the artwork for the Silver Surfer book, which, that's something else altogether. This book covers time period of April 1982 and concludes in January of 1983. The What If issue. Now, What If issue mostly put is, what if this is going to get the powers? Which is an interesting idea of a non-powered Fantastic Four dealing with stuff they encountered back in the 60s, which I thought was a really cool idea. Now you probably think, okay, what happened in these issues? Mostly put it basically in these issues, there was a little bit with S.H.I.E.L.D, but mostly we advanced Frankie Ray's story, where we leave with her in issue 250, where she becomes a hero of Galactus, where she take up the identity of Nova. Yep, that is literally kind of what happens in these issues. Yeah, it's a big epic story arc. Yeah, it's interesting the fact this book only collects 10 issues. Like the first issue, basically, they battle, they go back and deal with Emperor, well, someone who claims to be Tiberius, who, this was the guy's sole appearance. He appears with one issue, and that's it. We also get some appearances by the Black Panther. Yep. And then we have Tarak the Tamer. Yep. He makes a return in this book. First time since he last was back in issue of Rom. Yes, frickin' Rom. And his next appearance would be in the very next issue. Yeah, mostly put basically Frankie Ray is to developing her story of Doctor Strange, the Avengers gets on these issues, which is awesome. I love the fact basically we basically have where 242 begins a storyline involving Galactus. And basically also involving him like trying to, I think he's trying to consume Earth again, but in exchange for sparing the Earth, Frankie Ray becomes his herald. Yep. And that's literally what this story arc is. It's a really good story arc for John Byrne. Yep. Yeah. Now you might be thinking though, when does Frankie Ray become Nova? She becomes Nova in issue 244, and of course also there's this woman named Julia D'Angelo. She's basically Human Torch's neighbor. She just showed up in 237. She didn't really appear very much. No, not really. Yeah, here's something quite strange about her. After like 257, which is discussed next book, after that issue in like 263, she's like done. Yeah, it's like she's around for a very brief period of time. It's implied she has a thing for, Johnny Storm, but doesn't go anywhere. That story wraps up 244. I thought it was 250. Well, then we fight a guy called Avatar, who would just basically Franklin Richards. And he's just an aspect of Franklin Richards. He's around for this issue. He returns for issue of Fantastic Four 332. Yeah, it just basically his powers. Also, in that very issue, there's a mistake that Riri made with trying to cure the thing. That's fixed. Yeah, John Byrne undoes a mistake he did with the book, which is quite interesting. And then we deal with the return of Doctor Doom. Also in these issues, get this. Reed Richards buys back the Baxter Building. Yes, it had been damaged with a battle, with Doctor Doom. So, Collins comes in. Basically, now here's the thing. It is mentioned in the issue that he had sold the building to Collins back in issue 9 of Fantastic Four, released back in the 60s. My guess is the reason why John Byrne decided to have it where Reed Richards has to just happen to have money, probably because of his inventions, to buy back the whole building. The reason why, because this probably was a lingering plot thread. He probably didn't care for Collins, so after that appearance, he basically is gone. And you're thinking, okay, so what issue was that? Well, I'm about to find it for you if I can find this. Here we go. Walter Collins. Here he is. His last appearance was back in Fantastic Four 201, and this was his last ever appearance. Yeah. Yeah. This sadly was his last appearance, and he never appeared ever again. Yeah. Mostly put appearing in issue 111. That was technically his debut. Yeah, and basically that John Byrne just effectively retired the character, and it was never mentioned again. Really cool idea for this before buy back the building. Well, that's because what happens. We also have a kill off a character named King Zabra, who had been there since issue 140. I think it was like a clone of Doctor Doom. He even controlled the country. And also, we see the first appearance of Christoph Ballard. Yes, a guy who later claimed to be Doctor Doom. Yep. And his next appearance will be, well, we'll get to that in the next Comic Corner. Well, not one anyways. And then we have, well, the Inhumans show up in 248. In 249, we do a Gladiator, who last appeared back in Uncanny X-Men 158, and he next appears in Fantastic Four 400. No, I'm not kidding about that. Apparently, that was his very next appearance in issue 400, released like 13 years later. Not sure why. And then for 250, it just basically finds the Skrulls. Well, Skrull X-Men mostly. Yeah, with guest appearance by Spider-Man, Captain America, and of course Gladiator. But his actual appearance would be in Uncanny X-Men 167. Yep. But in the case of this book overall, it's good. And the story is called X Factor. You think, is this basically a prelude to formation of X Factor itself? Not really, no. But that's handled in later issue. But I'm going to give this book here a 10 out of 10. It was really good. Okay, so here we go. Next one is basically Nick Fury, The Age of S.H.I.E.L.D. Masterworks for that book, Volume 3, and this is the last one released because basically this is the end of Volume 1. I'll discuss the future if I get a chance to read more Nick Fury in the future, which I'll get to that. This book collects Nick Fury Age of S.H.I.E.L.D. issues 4 to 15 and Avengers number 72. Do I think Nick Fury will get an epic collection collecting this era of Nick Fury? I think so, yes. The book also collects, get this, this also collects issue of Marvel Spotlight. Yeah, but it's not listed here for some reason. Yeah, by the way, this book covers time period of September 1960, includes in November 1969. Yeah. Mostly put basically, by the way, love this gingerbread cover. And sadly, I think this would be, he would do this cover here and the next two covers. But I think like issue 5 was his last issue he did because, yeah, he did one issue in this book. It's like he just brought in to do the Strange Tales issues and then do a few issues of Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that was it. If you're curious, who was the writer for these issues? Gary Frederick, mostly. He was the writer for so many issues. He did issues 9 to 11 and 13 to 15. Jim Sprinkle does issue 5, and that's it. Roy Thomas does 4, 6, and Avengers 72. Archie Goodwin does issues 6 and 7. 8 is done by Ernie Hart, and Steve Parkhouse does issue 12. Frank Springer does issues 4, 6, 7, 9 to 11. Hart Trimple does basically issue 8 and 3 to 15. James Sprinkle does the artwork for issue 5 because he was writing for that one too. Bay Ranger Smith, yes, the guy who did the Weapon X storyline from Marvel Comics Presents, he does issue 12. Nick Ayers issue 15, and the Avengers issue, which I discussed already, is done by Sal Buscema. Yeah, mostly put basically, This continues the whole. It deals with appearance by Hydra in this issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're dealing with Hydra, which is really cool. Yep. Huh. Yeah. And then for issue 5, basically, which was Jim Stringer's last issue he ever did for the book, it's just a follow-up with Scorpio. Yep. That's literally what this issue is. I love this issue because I love Jim Stringer's artwork. He has this thing where he has a little text inside. He does this for some of the issue. But at least he doesn't come with the freaking picture. It's just an excellent issue. I love it. Mm-hmm. Most important, you can think of this issue as a follow-up to issue 1. That's most what it is. And there's no more Scorpion afterwards. In issue 6, Nick Fury goes to space. Yep, why not? And it seemed at this point in time, you would think, oh, where's his suit that he wears? He wears it sometimes. Some issues doesn't bother wearing it at all. I would say in the case of issue number 6, it reminded me a lot of basically You Only Live Twice. And we have issue 7 did with, like, death. This is basically an Archie Goodwin issue. Yes, Archie Goodwin. Right, Agent Nick Fury, Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. It's been weird 60s stuff in this one. In issue number 8, he fights aliens and deals with other stuff here. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird time for Nick Fury. Yeah, it's like basically Nick Fury this period of time has to be really weird. It's like, oh, by the way, his supporting cast is Dem Dugan, Gabe Jones, and Johnny Woo. Yes, Johnny Woo became a supporting character in this book. He pretty much was brought back thanks to bringing Yellow Claw. And mostly put, he's been a recurring character since then. He was in issue 2, 7 through 9, 11, and 12. After that, he appeared in Giant Test, Master Kung Fu, and he appeared in Godzilla for that entire run. Yep. Like, it's a lot of really good spy stuff. Battle with someone called Supremus who dies in the same issue. That's issue number 8. Issue number 9, he battles the Hate Mongler, who last appeared back in issue of Fantastic Four. Who is Hate Mongler, you might ask? Why, it's Adolf Hitler's frickin' clone. Yes, seriously, it's a clone of Adolf Hitler. Yep, and after this issue, he appears for the next issue, which I believe is also Lori Brown, which he attempted to date Nick Fury. I think it's one of her last appearances in the book. Mm-hmm. Oh, she actually appears a few more times, and she appears very, very sporadically. Like, very sporadically. Mm-hmm. Issue number 11, he basically continues battling the Hate Mongler. It's like he's around for a few issues. And then basically in issue number 12, which is still an issue by Steve Perkhouse, it mostly puts fighting more Hydra stuff. If I gotta go Sue Pager, it was not John Walker, it's somebody else. And that's the Gary Frederick issue. Issue 14 is basically fighting more Hydra. If I go Dr. Cross, who's only around for very few appearances. Yeah, after this one issue, he appears in Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that was it for him. And then we have a guy called Bull's Eye, who was the assassin like Nick Fury. And then, like, yeah, in 15, that was it. Yep. He later pops up in issue of Avengers. Yep. Where he's posing as Scorpio. And then pretty much I think after that he was basically made a supporting character in the pages of... There we go. Yeah, he was made a supporting character in the pages of Captain America. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. I thought it was really awesome. Yeah, it's like basically like right after he wrapped up that. Instead of appearing in the Sergeant Reed book, the president, most of the point, he just appears as a supporting character in the pages of this book here. There is a Marvel Spotlight issue. They included this in here. Yeah, it's Nick Fury issue. His previous appearance for this one was an issue of Hulk. Yeah, it mostly put in a way is the debut of the Infinity Formula. You're thinking, what the heck is the Infinity Formula, you might ask? There's never a guy called Professor Sternberg. He's the one who invented the damn thing. Mostly put in a way, this particular formula kept Nick Fury young for years. Well, until Original Sin revealed, oh yeah, it ran out and he became an old man. Really cool they included this in here, but for some reason it's not credited part in here. Like, I'm not sure why. It's one of the most bizarre things. Like, they don't credit the actual book being here, but it's in this freaking book. It's Wrath for the Avengers issue. Now you probably think, okay, what happened with issue 16, 18? Because basically there was 3 more issues of it. Those 3 issues were essentially put reprints. Yeah. Yeah, my guess is they included the Avengers issue because that picks up where this issue left off. Yeah. That's mostly probably the reason why they included it in here. Because it does pick up where that left off. And then we finally have the... This is mostly a bonus book. Yeah. He appears... By the way, this book, get this. This most part of this is done by Jim Starr. He writes it. But the artwork is done by Howard Schenken. You're thinking, okay, I really enjoyed the fact they included this here. It's a good bonus book in here. Yeah, that's what this book is. It's a bonus book. And, excuse me, this, in my honest opinion, really a smart move on the part of Marvel to do this. You also contest here too. For some reason, you got more white streaks in her hair for some reason, especially we have 1. But yeah, that's the end of Nick Fury Volume 1. Yep, and for Nick Fury at this point in time. I'm going to give this Marvel Masterworks a 10 out of 10 because it is so freaking good. I thoroughly enjoy this. Yeah. Now, you probably would think, okay, is there any more Nick Fury out there? Well, oh, by the way, in case you're curious though, what was issue 32 of this book? Well, it was the debut of Spider-Woman. Yep. Spider-Woman made her debut in the very next issue. Nick Fury in their hand will pop up in Marvel 2-in-1, number 26. I'm surprised they include that in here. Yeah. But solo-wise, it just feels like a bonus book. That's what it is. Other books he would have of his own, he would have, there was a one-shot. Well, that's not that one here. Here we go. Well, mostly put in a way. There would be after this, there would be a second volume for Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. But here's the strange thing about this book. It is a reprint book. Yep. That is essentially what it is. It's a reprint book. Yep. That's essentially what it is. It's a reprint book. I don't know the reason for it, but... yeah. It is quite strange of why in the world they decided to print Nick Fury's book and then make it a reprint book. It is by far one of the most strangest ideas that Marvel's ever done. But mostly put in a way, Nick Fury, for the rest of the time of Marvel Comics, aside from having, he apparently had a book over at UK. Yeah, I'm surprised they included this in here, but that was basically a return to the Spotlight stuff. After the Marvel Spotlight stuff, yes, that was probably his next thing he's featured in. He was featured there's also few issues of Marvel 2-in-1. They could include that, and they'll probably include this probably much Epic Collections if they were doing any for Nick Fury. Yes, but most people with occasional some Spotlight books he appeared in, mostly put he was just a support. He was a recurring character at Marvel. Yeah, the next book he would have of his own would be the Nick Fury versus S.H.I.E.L.D. book. That is mostly what exactly what that book was. What that was the next book. Now, the thing about this book is it's mostly what Nick Fury TO'd Hydra to get this. You're going to love this. So, the plot of this book is simply this. He has a team up with Hydra to take on LMD. This will be quite interesting to get into. Okay, now I'm looking at Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Volume 2. The first issue, mostly put, basically reprints the first 2 issues of Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and an issue of Strange Tales. The second and last issue of the book reprints issue 5 and issue 3. I do not need to cover this book because basically it's been covered already. One might ask, why the heck Marvel did this for? I don't know. Now, why do I think the book basically was canceled at 15? Well, why is that producing and doing reprints? My guess is, and this is just my personal theory on the matter. Oh, by the way, he would have an ongoing series in the 1990s that would shockingly last for 47 issues, starting in 1989 and concluding in 1983. Now, why do I think the book got canceled? Why did the book end after this short period of time? My guess is the reason why they decided to give him a slow book because of the James Bond craze. And my guess is at the time was canceled. The craze was starting to die down, so they decided to reprint stuff and discontinue stuff in other books. Yeah, and plus also this actually was 2 books he was running at the time. The other was the Sergeant Fury book, which that was mostly all new stories until issue 120, before it became a reprint series. But yeah, not much else to say about this book. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. This is the end of basically Marvel Masters Nick Fury. I'll probably come back to when I discuss the Nick Fury Classic books, which collect Volume 3, which that's quite interesting to talk about. Yep. If there's a trade for Nick Fury versus S.H.I.E.L.D., I probably will get a chance to review it. Yep, so yeah, that's that particular view. Next up is going to be one more Comic Corner, and I'll call it a night. Okay, next video. Bye.